Was the Conjuring movie a true story? The terrifying tale of a family haunted by dark forces, a cursed farmhouse, and a legendary ghost-hunting couple? The film takes inspiration from real-life events that are even more disturbing than Hollywood could capture. For the Perrons, the story wasn't a movie, it was life. Roger and Carolyn Perron had one wish in 1971 to find a peaceful home to raise their 5 daughters. They chose an old farmhouse in the secluded woodlands of Rhode Island, hoping for an idyllic rural lifestyle. Roger's work as a traveling salesman often left Carolyn alone with the girls, which became a darker situation than they ever expected. It wasn't long before the family noticed strange happenings. Shadowy figures appeared in rooms without explanation, and at night they heard whispers, distant but unsettlingly real. Andrea Perron, the eldest daughter, later documented these experiences in her book, House of Darkness, House of Light. She described how her family gradually became prisoners in their own home, haunted by a force they couldn't understand. Carolyn, who spent the most time at home, became the primary target. Over time, her mood darkened, and she complained of hearing voices and feeling an oppressive presence. Her daughters were terrified as well, each describing eerie encounters with different spirits in the house. Andrea wrote of the spirits as if they had unique personalities. Some were silent observers, others seemed friendly, but a few were hostile, even menacing. As their lives grew increasingly unbearable, the Perrons turned to 2 of America's most famous paranormal investigators, Ed and Lorraine Warren. Ed was a dedicated demonologist, and Lorraine claimed to be a gifted clairvoyant. Together, they had handled some of the nation's most notorious cases, but the Perron haunting would test them in ways they hadn't foreseen. Will they be able to rid the house of its dark, malevolent spirits, or will the haunting only grow stronger? When the Warrens arrived at the Perron house, Lorraine sensed a heavy, malevolent energy. She suspected that the spirit of Bathsheba Sherman, a woman from the 1800s rumored to have been a witch, was behind the terror. Legend had it that Bathsheba had sacrificed her own child to the devil, and local folklore claimed she'd cursed the land before her death. Lorraine believed Bathsheba's spirit had latched onto Carolyn, feeding on her vulnerability and isolating her from her family. The Warrens warned Roger and Carolyn of the danger and suggested a seance to confront the spirit. What terrifying aftermath did the seance leave in its wake? In a scene almost as terrifying as the movie itself, the seance began in a darkened room, with the Perrons gathered in tense silence. Andrea later recounted that she watched in secret, hiding as the seance unfolded. As Lorraine reached out to the spirits, Carolyn suddenly began speaking in a strange, guttural voice, nothing like her own. Then, in a shocking moment, her body lifted off the chair and was hurled across the room. The family was horrified. This wasn't an exorcism as shown in the movie, but something equally violent and traumatic. Carolyn was left shaken and fragile, and the Perrons were forced to confront the reality that they couldn't rid themselves of this presence. While the Warrens left after the seance, the spirits remained. Despite the escalating horror, the Perrons stayed in the house for nearly a decade, finally leaving in 1980 after years of mental and emotional toll. Carolyn reportedly begged Roger to leave, fearing that she wouldn't survive another winter there. The haunting had become more than they could bear. Today, Andrea Perron still speaks about her family's experience. In recent years, she suggested that Bathsheba Sherman was likely not the vengeful spirit that plagued them, but believes a darker force was at play. She remembers some spirits as peaceful presences who meant no harm, but the malevolent entity remains an unsolved mystery. Following the release of The Conjuring in 2013, the Perron family's story captured public attention worldwide. In 2022, the farmhouse sold for $1.5 million, and now hosts tours and overnight stays for those who dare to visit. Paranormal investigators flock to the house, hoping to experience what the Perrons lived through. Andrea and some family members occasionally return, trying to connect with the spirits that once tormented their lives. But for most, the house remains a chilling reminder that some stories of horror are all too real. The Perron story is an unsettling one, a reminder that our homes, places meant for safety, can harbor forces we cannot understand. Whether or not you believe in ghosts, one question remains: how much of what the Perrons experienced was real, and what forces truly linger in that farmhouse? Would you spend a night there? Share your thoughts and let us know what you do if faced with the unexplainable.